I'm Chad,
I'm Brad.
and we are Two Smoking Dads. What we're doing here today is showing you what we have in our arsenal for cooking. Nothing too crazy, nothing too spectacularly off the charts expensive. All pretty much relatively inexpensive smokers. Everybody's got their own preference. This is the things that we started off with. Actually, what we really started off with was
Kettles.
the kettle grill. Had one for several years and messed around with it and did all sorts of different types of cooks on it with ribs and obviously the direct heat stuff, steaks and burgers and pork chops and stuff like that. And actually, those are a great thing to start off with, and they can work pretty much for anything.
Yeah, you can add so many things easy.
Yeah, super. And they're decent size. And once again, you can get one. They start off anywhere around $100, and you can go up to $400 or $500 on one of those. So, and they all pretty much do the same thing. So, this one's mine, Weber Smoky Mountain, 18-inch. Got a couple of accessories for it. We got a rib hanger for a pit barrel cooker. Thing actually worked. Used it yesterday. It actually worked really well. Did a big rack of St. Louis style. Actually, it looked like doggone dinosaur bones. They were that big. But it worked awesome. About 3 hours total. And if you were to use that thing normally, it's a 4 or 5 hour cook. And actually, I don't know that those ribs would have fit on that smoker because they were probably that long.
Before we trimmed.
Yeah, I mean they were every bit that long. So it ended up, like I said, took us about 3 hours to cook them. Worked out really good. I'll let Brad talk about what he's got here.
So here we have the Oklahoma Joe Bronco. And the nice thing about this, I upgraded from this because I wanted to use more wood other than just pellets, which we'll get to in a minute. But I jumped from, like he said, from the kettle to a pellet smoker and decided I wanted to go back way old school like we started. The nice thing about this one is, just like he said, you can hang. So I got racks, so I can hang 9 racks of ribs if I want, or chickens, or whatnot. Turkeys. A little bit more of an expensive smoker, but not too bad. Now you can go further if you wanted to and get a little bit bigger one, which is the Bronco Pro, but you're not gaining that much in my opinion, considering that that's more like $700-800.
Actually, I've seen other people on other YouTube channels that have even said you're better off to buy 2 of those because it's actually bigger and it's less money than an Oklahoma Joe Bronco Pro.
Yes.
Haven't used one, don't know, but it makes sense to me. Kind of the same thing with one of those. Those are, well, I don't know, the Weber Smoky Mountain. I don't know. It wouldn't be cost effective to get 2 of those as opposed to the 22-inch. But the 22-inch it's pretty significant. And from what I've heard, the only reason it makes sense is if you're cooking a lot of food, because the problem is it goes through a lot more fuel. Goes through a lot more charcoal. And I've also heard that they're a lot harder to control temps on. Now, once again, I've never used one, but other YouTube channels I've watched, they've said that, and guys that I've watched that have said that seem to be fairly knowledgeable about the process. So, next one.
Obviously, this is a Pit Boss pellet smoker. You load your pellets. It's got the auger. It'll send them through. Good smoker. I like this smoker. This is, like I said, I went from the Weber to this. Really got me interested. The nice thing with this is, you got 2 racks. I've done everything from ribs. What else have we done?
Briskets, pork butts.
Yeah, pork butts.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
I've done pretty much everything on it. The advantage of this is you can kind of set it and let it go.
Yeah. It's an oven outside.
Yeah.
Takes the thinking and the fun out of
it. That's the one thing. That's why we went back this way, because obviously you got your meat probe, so it's going to tell you the temp. It's going to tell you the temps of your food, that's nice, but sometimes you like to go better that way. But if you got to set something and go walk away, it's not a bad way to go.
One thing that's nice about those, like Brad said, is if you can pretty much just walk away and barring any flare-ups or flame up, yeah, you know, it's gonna do what you want it to do. Downside with that, I don't think you get the smoke flavor that you do with these two. I don't think it's even remotely close. I don't know if what it is, whether it be lump or briquettes of charcoal. It just brings a different flavor, and I just think it's a better flavor. The other downfall with that is it doesn't get very hot. Like you can't sear stuff. I mean, you can.
Well, you can. It does have a sear. It does have a sear.
Yeah,
plate,
but it's not going to
but
get.
it's. I mean, trust me, I've seen it. And like he says, if you watch some of these YouTube channels, some of these other guys, they show you about searing it. The reverse sear, whatever you want to do. I mean, it's to each their own.
Yeah, but once again, I think if you want a really good quality steak, pork chop, something that you're going to sear, this, not so much that,
Or that.
or that. You can do it on this. Just take this whole thing off. Push your grill grate over top of that. Boom.
Kettle.
Works pretty good. Next one.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna let Brad do this one because I don't know anything about that.
so the one day I was over to neighbors. The guy named Moo, we'll throw his name out just for fun, and him and his other half had bought one, but it was a Blackstone. They bought this big griddle, and it was. I'm like, well, that sounds kind of cool. I'm like, well, but do I really have to have it? But you know how it is. When you're two guys who cook nonstop all the time, you got to have a new toy every once in a while, right? So, 4-burner griddle. Cool part about this is everything from doing chicken, like you're doing chicken strips and veggies, or breakfast, or whatnot. Burgers, smash burgers.
Sure.
They're handy. Once again, time consuming. Now, mind you, this is a members mark from Sam's Club. Half the price of a Blackstone, pretty much the same. A little bit difference between this and a Blackstone, but still, for the money, the size is the same. It's pretty much the same. So,
Plus, the other thing, what you have that works out for you is you're able to keep it inside.
yeah, and that's
Where a
one-
lot of people don't keep them inside, and that's really, really rough on
Oh yeah.
on something like that.
Well, especially even with like a pellet smoker or
Yeah.
anything. The people in the moisture, you just like leaving your charcoal outside or whatnot. So the nice thing is, because it's in a garage and it's kept warm, our stuff usually lasts longer.
Right.
So, well, obviously,
Yeah.
just a Weber
Weber 22 ounce, 22
22
inch
kennel.
kettle grill, nothing fancy, just the cheap version of it. I've got 2 of them myself. The reason I got 2 of them was we were doing ribs and just needed more room because you needed to be able to do them indirect, and you don't have, put the charcoal on one side and put the ribs on the other. Well, you kind of run out of room, so hey, why don't we just buy another one? I had one, I bought another one, and then he bought one, and at one point we had 3 of these things going over here,
Yep.
making
Ribs.
6, 8 racks of ribs, I
9.
think. 9 racks of
9
ribs on
racks
them.
of ribs.
Yep. So, pretty. Hey, if you're watching this, you know what these things do. I mean, they pretty much speak for themselves. They've been around since I think 1952. Not a whole lot of changes in the designs of them. They've changed some things. I don't think they're nearly as heavy as they used to be, but that's probably how they keep the cost down. They also have some other features. Like I said, the ones we have are just pretty much plain Jane. Not a whole lot of. The ash catcher is pretty crude, but it works. But as far as like the grates and stuff, you can get different types of grates. We have. I think you have
I have
the flip up kind where you can add fuel, add more smoking chunks of wood or chips of wood, whatever you choose to use. I've got one that it's got a removable center in the cast iron, or instead of it being the steel, you can put a piece of cast iron in there for doing steaks. It turned out really good. A little expensive, but I don't really use it all that much, but it does a fairly decent job. And then we'll talk about this one. That once again is
This was a diamond in the rough. So long story short, once again, this is another pit boss, but this is a vertical. The difference between this one, it does not have an auger. It just has this basket, which is nice because it's one less thing to worry about. All you do is put your pellets in, get it started, and kind of let it go. So we were. It was right after Black Friday. It was Black Friday, yes. So we were making some running around trips, picking up stuff, as you can tell we like to do. And there was someone that had this on Marketplace. And it was $100? Yeah, $100. And I'm like, well, for $100, it's worth checking out. So we run over to Minerva. And the guy's like, it won't climb enough temp. And I'm like, well, he started it up, it turned on. I'm like, for $100, I can't go wrong. So we went ahead, picked it up, brought it back, and set it out here, and we had it at what, $275? It got up. So for $100, because normally these ones I think was like $300 or something. So I got it for $100. So
yeah,
that's pretty much the story behind this one. But this one's nice. I've done pork butts. I've done now, and that's the other thing we love to do, and you'll see it in the video. Smoked cheese.
Oh, we forgot our cheapest tool in the arsenal,
yes,
which we utilize rather frequently, is the smoke tube.
Smoke tube.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Please
Yep.
stand by.
Please stand up. All right.
And once again, if you're watching this, you probably know what a smoke tube is. But my gosh, for 15, 20 bucks,
Yep.
fill that thing up. We've gone through more money in pellets than the actual, obviously, than the cost of that.
Yeah. What I like about using the vertical, like yesterday, we were cooking ribs on those two, and I'm like, well, we gotta love cheese, so let's smoke a bunch of cheese. Because the nice thing is you gotta let it sit 2 weeks anyways. Plus, if you smoke a bunch ahead of time, you can throw some in the freezer. And that way, unlike me, that almost smokes every couple weeks with some cheese, that way you have extra. But like you said, yeah, like $20. This one's an expandable one, so you get longer time for smoking.
Yep.
So, but nice thing to have.
Yep.
It's
They work
addictive.
awesome.
That's the only thing I'll say. Once you start doing this, then you kind of just keep going, and the question is, when does it stop?
When does it stop?
So.
When does it stop? Some people have $5,000 smoking tools, and hey, man, God bless you if you can do it, because I think that's awesome. Me, nope, can't afford $5,000 cooker, but not saying I won't at one point, but
I'll get us time.
yeah. So, but that's where we're at. That's what we do.
Yep. We hope to like what you see and want to watch and subscribe once we get this all going.
Absolutely. And hey, leave comments.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hopefully we see you guys soon.
See you.